Hi, freshmen. So this week we are reading Act 2, Scene 2 of Romeo and Juliet. It is oftentimes considered the most famous scene in Romeo and Juliet. It's called the balcony scene. So I'm going to read it to you, and then after we read it and analyze it together on this video, you're going to click on the YouTube link, which is going to take you to the Leonardo DiCaprio version of the balcony scene in his movie that he did with Claire Danes back in the 1990s. And I want you to compare these two. Compare the original and compare the 1990s movie adaptation and notice what the movie took out, okay, and how that changes the overall piece. So let's get started. Act 2, Scene 2, Romeo. He is talking about Mercutio here. Mercutio's been joking on him. He jests at scars that never felt a wound. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief. That thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. Okay, so notice maid here means virgin worshiper. Romeo's got a big problem with girls who want to stay virgins. This is number 850, why he's bad news. Okay, remember his first girl that he was in love with wanted to be a virgin worshiper of the moon goddess. So she had said she wasn't going to sleep with anybody, so he's really upset about that. So he's really hoping Juliet is not going to do the same thing as Rosalind. He's like, oh, don't worry about being a moon worshiper. Leave the moon. Come and be with me. So then he sees Juliet appear at the window. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek. Juliet. Ay me. She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night, being o'er my head, as is a winged messenger of heaven, unto the white upturned wandering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him, when he bestrides the lazy puffing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air. So notice again, Romeo's calling her an angel. He's using hyperbole to way overshoot what Juliet is, which is just a pretty girl. Juliet, my favorite character. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet. So what she means here is, why are you Romeo? Not where are you Romeo, but why are you Romeo Montague? Why do you have to be a Montague? I love you. I think I love you, but you're my sworn enemy. Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this? 'Tis but the name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's a Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name, which is no part of thee, take all myself. So she's saying, if you'll refuse to be a Montague, if you'll disown your family, you can have me. But I can't be with you if you're a Montague. Romeo to her. I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth I never will be Romeo. What man art thou that be screened in night, so stumblest upon my counsel? By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word. So she says, who are you? What's your name? And he's like, well, I don't know what name to give you now, because you said you hate my name. My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of that tongue's utterance, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague? Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike. How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art. Hang on, guys. If any of my kinsmen find thee here, with love's light wings did I o'erperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out. And what love can do, that darest love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to thee. To me, if they do see thee, they will murder thee. Alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity. So here we have two very different characters. One is very practical, and one is very fantastical, very dreamy. So it's interesting because if you're paying attention, you'll notice that it's the one who's practical is not the gender that's normally considered practical. Juliet is our practical one. She's like, they're going to kill you, boy. And he's like, oh, no, if I have your love, I'll fight 20 of them with my hands behind my back. She's like, no, seriously, they're going to kill you. Juliet, I would not for the world they saw thee here. I have night's cloak to hide me from their sight, and but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued wanting of thy love. By whose discretion foundest thou this place? By love, who first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as that vast shore washed with the farthest sea, I would adventure for such merchandise. So after she's like, well, why are you here? How'd you get here? He's like, oh, love carried me. She's like, no, that's not true. And then she's like, well, who told you where to find me? And he's like, oh, love did again. Again, that's not true. Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, else would a maiden blush bepaint my cheek, for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell on form, fain deny what I have spoke, but farewell, compliment. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word, yet if thou swearest, thou mayest prove false. At lovers' perjuries they say Jove, which is God, laughs. O gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully, or if thou thinkest I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse, and say thee nay. And so thou wilt woo, but else not for the world, and truth, fair Montague, I am too fond. And therefore thou mayest think my behaviour light, but trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those that have more cunning to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess, but that thou overheardst ere I was ware my true love's passion. Therefore pardon me, and not impute this yielding to light love, which the dark night hath so discovered. So here she's telling him, like, I wish you hadn't heard me talking out loud, because now you know that I love you. And so, of course, you're going to say that you love me back, probably just to get me into bed. It's a problem that a lot of people, boys and girls, still face today is, do you really love me, or do you just want to get me into bed? And that's why this play is so important, because it's still dealing with the same issues. Okay, so 1,000 years ago, well, not 1,000, 500 years ago, girls were still worried that boys didn't actually love them. And boys were still saying lots of flowery language and not knowing if they were being really true or not. Okay, so here Juliet is saying, like, I wish I knew the truth, and had you not overheard me, I would have been more cautious. I wouldn't have told you how I really feel, because now you have the upper hand. Lady, by yonder blessed moon I vow that tips with silver all these fruit tree tops. Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon that monthly changes in her circled orb, lest that thy love prove likewise variable. What shall I swear by? Do not swear at all, or if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the God of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee. If my heart's dear love, well, don't swear. Although I joy in thee, I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning, which doth cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet, good night. This bud of love by summer's ripening breath may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night, a sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as that within my breast. So she's saying, like, you should leave now. Don't swear at all that you love me. Like, let's just stop right here. We're rushing. Again, being very practical. Romeo, oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied? What satisfaction canst thou have tonight? The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine. I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would it were to give again. So she's like, I've already told you I loved you. You overheard me say it. Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love? But to be frank and give it thee again. And yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. I hear some noise within. Dear love, adieu. Anon, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little. I will come again. So she leaves and she's going to come right back. Oh, blessed, blessed night, I am afeard, being a knight, all this is but a dream, too flattering sweet to be substantial. 3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honorable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow by one that I'll procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite, and all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world. Madam, I come anon. But if thou meanest not well, I do beseech thee, Madam, by and by I come, to cease thy suit, and leave me to my grief. Tomorrow will I send. So thrive my soul. 1,000 times good night. So here, Juliet has given him an ultimatum. She said, if you really do love me, get married to me. But if all you want is na 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 na, okay, please don't come back. Don't talk to me ever again. Okay, so she says, I'll send you word tomorrow where to meet me to get married. 1,000 times the worse to want thy light. Love goes toward love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love toward school with heavy looks. Hist, Romeo, hist! Oh, for a falconer's voice to lure this tassel gentle back again. Bondage is a horse, and may not speak aloud, else would I tear the cave where echo lies, and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine with repetition of my Romeo's name. It is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver sweet sound lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears. Romeo, my Naias, at what clock tomorrow shall I send to thee? At the hour of 9. I will not fail, till 20 years till then. I have forgot why I did call thee back. Let me stand here till thou remember it. I shall forget to have thee still stand here, remembering how I love thy company. So this is like, you hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up. And I'll still stay to have thee still forget in any other home but this. 'Tis almost morning, I would have thee gone, and yet no further than a wanton's bird, who lets it hop a little from her hand, like a poor prisoner in his twisted gyves, and with a silk thread plucks it back again, so loving jealous of his liberty. I would I were thy bird. Sweet, so would I, yet I should kill thee with much cherishing. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow, that I shall say good night till it be morrow. Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep and peace, so sweet to rest. Hence will I to my ghostly friar sell, his help to crave, and my dear hap to tell. So notice there, we've got 2 couplets back to back. Again, remember in the play structure, that signifies to the audience it's the end of the scene. So this is important. Okay, so now it's important because it's telling us what he's about to go do. He's going to go talk to his friar, his confessor, the friar, and get some advice from him of how to proceed with this marriage. Okay, so remember, Juliet's the one that brought up marriage almost at the very end of their conversation, and it's really just to see, like, is Romeo being serious about loving her, or does he just want to sleep with her? Okay, so now you're going to close out this video, open up the YouTube link of the balcony scene, and see how it compares. What is it missing? Because they cut out a lot, and I want you to pay attention to mostly who they cut out and how they change up the scene. So think about what Shakespeare is saying in the original, and then what Baz Luhrmann, the director of the DiCaprio version, is trying to say. And that'll be your assignment, is telling me how the two are different. Okay, have fun.